Warning, this video is intended for audiences who are 13 or older. If you are not 13 or older, please fuck off and tell your parents to moderate what you watch online.
Alright, Tariq, we did it! We went through the process of Black Sun!
Yeah, we went through the process of Black Sun, and we're recording this on the first day of Black History Month.
Yeah, boy, that was that little, say, look, for the audience, like always, a behind-the-scene process, right? When it comes to recording stuff, nothing is planned in advance, We're just like, boy, we have to record this. Let's record this on a date we're both free, which due to our busy schedules, it's like 1 or 2 days a week, right? Right, and then whenever stuff is recorded, we talk about the current world events to plug in.
Yeah, and boy, like we recorded last week, and it was like, hey, literally, at the time, a fucking goddamn police brutality incident happened again in the U.S. because everything's fucked. Boy. Black Sun. Not Black Sun with an O. Black Sun with a U. This is, boy, huh. I should have known I was in for a wild ride the minute ketamine showed up. Explicitly as ketamine.
Was that the hint? Because someone said ketamine?
I just should have been, the hint that this was going to be all over the place and, a fucking wild experience. But coming from the last Amazon distributed Kamen Rider series, Amazon Riders, or whatever the fuck, I had higher expectations, and this was more confusing than
Amazon's premise is pretty basic to the bare bones.
Yeah,
right?
But it doesn't. I guess it doesn't.
Right, it's literally about hey, Jungle Man, technology. Ooh,
yeah, but he doesn't.
What's this?
But it isn't. But it isn't. It doesn't try to. It's not like. It's not trying to say the same things that Black Sun is trying to say. Amazon is something that you could Amazon Kamen Rider. I'm just for sake of fucking saying it. I know there's Kamen Rider Amazon, the actual show, but Kamen Rider Amazon on Amazon.
Yeah.
That Kamen Rider Amazon was just... It was brutal, it was dramatic, it was suspenseful. It wasn't attempting to be deep. It didn't need to. Black Sun is... so quickly right off the bat, trying
to make a statement.
Oh, you're trying to make a statement, and you might be punching above your weight class. This is not something that I would say.
What? You don't trust Japan to handle the hot topic issue of racism?
God.
God.
Oh God. What was I?
You don't think all? Oh, hold on. Oh. You don't think, let's see, what's that? That's 95, that's 98.5 minus 100. You don't think the 1.5% of Japanese people want a series devoted to them about their issues?
Well, like Bernie Sanders says, Japan clearly took from Bernie Sanders and said, we've got to stop the 1%. But holy shit, yeah.
They took the wrong
1%. I just... There's so... The parallels that they draw in this series are just so problematically applied. And it's if we had just stuck to the core plot elements, I think I would have less of an issue.
Boy, but here's the problem, right? As we both established from the recording, you and I know nothing about Kamen Rider Black, the original series, right? And for what I can gather from reading interviews, the show writers knew nothing about Black. I think they were like, we watched the first 3 episodes and we watched the last episode. I said, all right, let's figure it out from there.
Yeah.
You know, right? That's like, hey, whenever it comes time for me to write a show about, I don't know, let's say X-Men, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna watch the first 3 episodes of X-Men Evolution and the last 3 episodes of X-Men Evolution. Like, all right, what's up with all this stuff? Who the fuck are all these characters? You know, right?
Yeah. That's like, God, you know, even well, I didn't actually watch Dark Phoenix, but I know like from First Class and Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Even the redo of like X-Men was trying to say the stuff that it was like that X-Men is fundamentally about. I don't know if Dark Phoenix completely fucks itself in the ass with that. I mean, Last Stand definitely did when it tried to do Dark Phoenix like arc. But like, it's such a. It's not necessarily. It's not tone deaf because it's. Right. It's like it's aware of tone. It's not tone deaf. It hears the tone. It just chooses to scream that tone, like, very poorly, instead of, like, actually addressing the shit that, like actually, right. Like, the point that they were trying to get to gets completely, like, it's a swing and a miss. Like, they know what they're going for, they just don't hit it. Like,
right.
God, I mean, what to say about this? So, like, look, from the fundamental conflict of 2 Bugmen best friends have to fight for a throne to become the Bugman King, whatever, and everything. I think that all of the stuff that it did, in that sense, was actually fine. The only issue I have, really, with it is, like, when it starts getting into the real world stuff that it's trying to express.
Right, the real world aspect.
And
right?
it's like
the actual theme of the show.
And then it's like, hold on, that doesn't make sense. And it's not it's not for the usual reason of, like, you know, there's suspension of disbelief. You go, oh yeah, there's a giant, you know, Godzilla is rampaging through the city, but it's like, oh, well, they just say, I don't know, fucking nuclear radiation did it. They go, okay, cool. If they start going, like, well, actually, it came from, like, the planet Zilla and swallowed all of the moon rocks, and also it filed its taxes. And then it was created by the government so that they could file their taxes properly, like, and then it got some nuclear radiation, but the nuclear radiation was actually not that strong, so it had to get, like, an injection of fucking, like, super radiation from Apple CEO Tim Cook, and it's like, okay, you're making this way more complicated than it has to be.
Right.
Like,
there needs to be.
Like,
for a show like this.
There's so many things about Black Sun that are like, you had something here, and then you made this way more complicated and you made this way more complicated than it have to be, and because you did that, you diluted either diluted the like message you were trying to give, or you like gave the opposite message than what you want to give, because so much of this is clearly meant to be like a parallel or a metaphor of racial, like, discrimination and
right. But that's the problem, right? This is coming from Japan,
right? A country that does, like,
places, right?
I mean, they're trying to be an outside force or an outside observer looking in and saying like, "Oh, we can describe it," but it doesn't seem like it's anybody that actually knows what.
Or is like informed. They just know. All right, we know, right? They just know like the bare minimum. Like, all right, hey, police brutality. You know, right? A guy said this before when he was attacked by the police before he died. Let's use that. That's good.
Yeah,
you
like,
know, right? And
but it's like if I'm trying to think of a series that like shit the bed that much. Because there's definitely been instances where this has happened. But it's like, I guess if you compared it to like, so okay, here's what I can think of, right? So that Watchmen series that was on HBO, right? So they have was it Tulsa bombing that they had? What was it? I'm gonna look it up. But whatever the terrorist attack that they showed from like the racist people. I'm trying to fucking find it. God damn it. It's bad because I haven't actually watched it. But I know about this thing because it fucking, split audiences because white people were like, "Oh, I can't believe that happened," and black people were just like, "Wait, which actual like horrific like bombing, like racist bombing that happened were they showing?" Because there's so many because hey, there's a lot of fucking yep, it was Tulsa Race Massacre. There's so many fucking, like, times where, hey, there's still times, it turns out. Welcome to Black History Month, motherfuckers. Get educated. There's so many fucking times where people have just fucking, like, attacked people, and killed just dozens, if not hundreds of people. But, like, it's like if they had tried to make that, but instead of making it actually because from what I understand, it's actually the Tulsa Race Massacre. It's just put through the lens of the Watchmen series, like them experiencing it through history. Like the Watchmen were involved in it, sort of that sort of thing. Like like that James Franco series where he's trying to stop JFK from getting shot or whatever.
Oh, that show?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying, like, it's through it. They're not altering the event. They're just putting it through the lens of these characters, right? It's historical fiction in that sense. This is like if instead of HBO doing it that way, they made the Tulsa like race massacre the equivalent of like, I don't know, like a bunch of little, like, rabbit people, like, the victims of it. And then the rabbit people become, like, more antagonistic and, like, instead of using it as the justified, like, sympathetic event that it was of, like, oh my god, this was incredibly tragic, this shouldn't have ever happened. Instead, they used it as a way to say, see, there's bad people on both sides, and a bad thing happened to them, but then they shouldn't have done stuff back to them to, like, be, like, aggressive. And it's like, these aren't the same things. Like, you can't just go, oh, like, yeah, they're bad people, like, attacking them, but also, what if they became, like, child soldiers, or what if they started raising a fucking army, or, like, there's not, like, a clear, what did they say with fucking, fables and like the lesson of the story or whatever. Moral. There's not like a moral to the story. Like there's not. It's everything is so gray to an extent. Like, but like gray, not in a sense of, like, oh, there's like sometimes they do good things, sometimes they do bad things. It's like, well, this was a good thing that we were going for, and then you fucked it up by like going fucking nuts and crazy and just deciding to go, you know what? Even though I have absolutely no prior like incentive, and in fact I was actively against this before, I'm choosing to become the bad guy. Like, the whole thing with Nobuhiko is like, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to go this way, man. Like, you could have just let this go. But instead you fucking like went violent, and then just like, there's so many issues with it, and so like it's such a poorly, I guess, mapped out series. You know, I feel like there was an idea of like they
definitely wanted to say something,
but then they they didn't think about how they were going to do that.
Right. I don't know if this was a constraint issue. Like, boy, hey, look, we got all these ideas. What do you mean we only have 10 episodes? You know, right? What do you mean these episodes have to be X amount of time, X long, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, right?
Yeah.
Right, is what they have.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I guess. How do you want to break this down, like, as a review? Because I
mean, usually we just it's kind of hard. It's different because it's not like how we did it when we do the Sentai Kamen Rider stuff, right? Where we could structure it easily, right? But this thing is way looser. I mean, I guess we could start off with the story.
Sure.
Right.
I mean, here's the thing, right? And also because, all right, so we could focus on the story, right? So here's the thing about the story, because part of it is that this is a story in two parts: a present day and a flashback. And I think that the flashback, in a sense, does like set the like explain the reason why everybody is there and how the situation came to be
in the present day, right?
I'll say it seemed there were definitely parts where I felt like it didn't have to be this long, and it didn't have to be like interjected into this like part of the present day, but as far as explaining itself, it did explain sort of the backstory of how these characters came to be at the point that they're at. That said, it did not explain enough of itself, and I don't know if it was because it was trying to borrow from people already knowing the mechanics of or like the lore of Black, or if it was because they thought.
Right, but that's the problem, right? You don't want to like save all that stuff because, like, hey, look, if you already know Black, you already know Black. That's what's up. That doesn't say, right? That doesn't help,
right?
Because this is not supposed to be like a legacy series, right?
Right.
It's like supposed to be like a completely new, different type of reboot. It's like it's like when you watch all those stupid all the current like sequel stuff. Like good example of that '90s shows, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. If you know, right, like, it doesn't take the time to explain to, hey, remember Jackie? Remember Fez?
Yeah. Remember why we're not including what's his face that apparently has like again another person that's like sexual abuse allegations or whatever because of like Scientology.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like that because in that '90s shows, right, they don't explain to you that '70s shows. If you know that 70s
Yeah,
shows.
you're here to watch this as a sequel series. You're not here to watch it as
right, because it's not
an introduction.
Right, yeah, because it's not that 70s shows part 2, the 90s. You know, it's its own thing.
Right.
Right. Right, but the part of this shit, right, that's the thing about the show. Like, this show has to be its own thing, right? But I'm not sure, like how much of this stuff is influenced, right? That the audience coming have to know about originally about the original Black. Which, hey, we found out apparently beginning used to have a sick motorcycle before they took it away. You know, right?
Yeah. I found my third unicorn. Whoa. Thank God.
Oh, what?
It fell down. It fell down. I found it.
Okay.
Safe.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. It's not like remember what.
Yeah. Bill Geddy is fucking like there's not there, and especially because there's so much that is changed from it, like just fundamentally. Even the Kaijin aspect, rather than them being mutants, is a fundamental change. So it's not like it's not like a it's not a retelling. It's not like a reimagining. It's a, I guess, alternate description. Like it's like trying to compare the Marvel the mass network of Marvel comics to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like there's a little bit of this taken from this and a little bit of that taken from that. Like we're taking certain parts and putting them together to oh, okay, if you've read certain parts of it, you go, oh, that's cool. But they're not saying explicitly, hey, we're adapting this specific plot line of we're not locked into adapting this one specific top line or timeline, right, or plot line. So with that being said, it's everything that if we're trying to look at this as a fresh-faced viewer, there's so many questions that we wind up having, and so many of them that kind of don't go unanswered, or go unanswered, right? That we just don't get an answer for, and it's okay, but why do they have belts? Why? Okay, so they get how does this process work? And also, okay, so sure, they don't age or whatever, but why are Nobuhiko and Kotaro able to transform in a different way than the others? And I get it if it's supposed to be implied that it's the Kingstones.
Yeah.
But then when Aoi gets the becomes a Kaijin, and then she transforms, and then she transforms again at the end with her belt. She doesn't have a Kingstone, and she doesn't become a full Kamen Rider. She becomes Nobuhiko. She's
still Kaijin.
Yeah, she becomes Nobuhiko and Kotaro did, where they were Kaijin forms, but with their belts on.
Yeah.
And that distinction feels like it should be important, and it's meant to imply, because she's, doing it just like Nobuhiko and Kotaro did, the implication should be that this is significant.
Is the only way you get a belt is that you have to say a phrase before you.
I mean, clearly, no, because they summon before they start posing, right?
That is true.
So it's just then they just bring it out and then they do the pose, and but it's not clear why that's. It's supposed to be insignificant. We get that, but they don't tell us why.
It was shown in one of the books.
Yeah.
Why there's a belt, but the problem is that it was too indistinguishable, right, and too fast for any audience was supposed to comprehend.
Right.
So
is the idea that they think, listen, if you just read the book, you'll understand everything, and it's
yeah,
I get that it's on Amazon, but and we can pause whenever you want, but are you actually expecting?
But still, that's still not a good way for an audience supposed to audience supposed to get information delivered if they have to be freeze framing at every?
Here's what I'd compare it to. It's like when people were complaining about there being like a bare bones story for the first Destiny game, and then 343 was like, or no, Bungie was just like, I mean, there's like data logs that you can look at, and they'll tell you about it. It's like, yeah, but like, you're giving me homework. Like, if I have to figure this, if I have to, there's this point where you can, feed your audience crumbs to kind of like keep them, interested in like guessing. I would compare that to like how Geats is doing things right now. Like just giving little bits, like slow burn is one thing, but like when you just kind of like keep adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff and then going, it's all in the source code, baby, and it's like,
hey, did you watch this expansive side?
Right, yeah, it's like, yeah, oh, yeah, they check the expanded universe stuff.
Tetsuo, fuck, was that Slash?
Oh, yeah, Tetsuo, yeah, yeah.
We talked about he's come from a
long line of blacksmiths that, like, have made all of the swords of the, it's like, oh, right? That's an entirely different context for this character, other than him having, like, fucking, like, agoraphobia and, like, being
and multi-personality disorder, right?
Yeah, some kind of like so it's so weird that they like they clearly try to emphasize certain things and certain points, but they never really give them enough explanation in the present, is what I would say. Like, again, the past stuff explains everything to a point, especially like what was her name, Yuriko? Like her whole thing, like her being this inspiration for Nobuhiko of like, we should finish what Yuriko wanted, and the reveal of like, I mean, she was always working for Donami. She like, it was this like, it was
her plan. Look, she wanted to take your guys' rock the entire time.
She was there to kind of...
She was only in it for the rock, right?
She was here to, like, try and be this, like, femme fatale, and it's like, I get it. Like, it kind of, like, that was sort of portrayed as, like, yeah, they're both best friends, and they're gonna kind of, like, fight over, like, this girl, like, it's gonna... And she's gonna, like, betray them. I get that. I understand. That I can understand. And, like, the reveal of, like, it breaking Nobuhiko. But... when you get to the actual and they do, I guess I'll also say they do explain, because of both like the present and the past, and yes, the fucking journal or whatever, the research log, they do explain how the Kaijins came to be, which, the Creation King backstory is good. Like, it's good that we got that. But the exact, I guess, references of this being a Kamen Rider show, we don't get actually why our titular Kamen Riders are special. We don't know, like, their dads were fucking researçers.
Yeah,
okay.
And then they decided to use guys for as child experiments,
like,
right?
But it's not like when we get to what was his name? Dr. Akizuki, I think. The dad of Nobuhiro. Like, we don't... It's not like he says, we gave them the Kingstones in order to, like, hide them away so that then, or in order to give them powers enough to, like, defeat the Creation King or something. All we get as an explanation for this is, I didn't think these two, like, 8-year-olds would fight over it, which, first of all, I don't know if you know 8-year-olds. I'm surprised they didn't fucking gouge each other's fucking stomachs out to get the rocks at, like, 8 years old. Like, that's how children work. Like, why would you... The fact that you thought that this was going to be, like, I couldn't... It's the same dumb logic. Like, it's slightly less dumb than Oliver Johnson putting a kingstone in his son in Nick's mouth as a kid, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they'll never look inside my child's stomach. It's like where they have a big scar like on their stomach. It's like, I mean, yeah, but like, what if they just start like reaching into their stomach like it's a fucking like kangaroo pouch and just pulling their rock out anytime they want? Like, did you think about that? Like, and also, hey, that still doesn't explain, like, why Nobuhiko and Kotaro can do a Kaijin transformation that's a level above, like, all the other Kaijin.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
right.
It's not bad. It's just, there's so many things that are left unexplained.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Right, and we, the audience, are supposed to figure it out, but we can't figure it out because the context, right? If the context clue in the show was better presented for us, the audience, right? Because no, I mean, but look, that's the thing about when it comes to writing television, right? Do you spoon feed the audience, or you're not supposed to spoon feed the audience?
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you
give them, like, drip them,
yeah, if you overwhelm someone with
for the context,
if you overwhelm someone with like exposition, nobody's gonna like that.
Yeah. Right, and you have to give like you have to balance it out, like balance out information given, right, for to the audience so they can actually figure it out without making it too fucking obvious,
right.
You know, right? And the problem is the show doesn't explain its elements enough for the audience, right? It doesn't present it's like when it's like if you were playing Hangman, right?
Yeah.
Right? Oh no, it's better if you were playing Final. Is it not Final Jeopardy? Fuck. What's the thing on Wheel of Fortune when it comes to you? What's the name of that game? When they give you only 5 letters.
When you're down to like the last. Oh fuck! It's not Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, right. Is there a name for that?
I'll call it sudden death. I know it's not that, but fuck, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. It's like that in Wheel of Fortune, right? How they only give you those 5 letters and you have to figure it out like that. But imagine if they did that, but they just like, no, we're just gonna give you the phrase. And you can figure it out from just the phrase. We're not even gonna give you the letters. We'll give you 2 letters, all right?
Yeah.
And that seems like we're being kind. We'll give you 2 letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You can figure it out from there yourself, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because there's not enough context clue for us to actually figure out enough about the plot to understand the real end goal, and to the point where we're just like, okay, so I think this is what happens, or no, so it works like this. This is their logic.
Yeah, and then you just kind of have to like keep like working it out and like mulling it over and go, I think this might be what it is, but like, I don't truly know. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's like from watching the show, giving it in all of its context clue and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess if I had to like think of the story, it's like I don't hate the story. I just have issues with them not, I guess, delivering on certain plot aspects that they should have had. Which I guess technically is contradictory to say, like, I don't have an issue. It's like, I liked all the stuff they introduced, I just wish they explained more, you know? I wish they actually gave, like, conclusive, answers to, like, what the fuck was happening. Mm-hmm. So that's how I feel in the story.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I can see you say like there are good interesting bits like, hey look, the Creation King is dying, you know, like hey look, we need the new one or else our species is gonna die out.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Right, so so we need one of you. We need to find the stupid MacGuffin rocks to get the next. Which apparently, boy, hey, look, if the Creation King was this important to you guys, boy, hey, you guys should have been like. I think we definitely talked about it as well in one of the other videos. Where I'm like, hey, look, if you know you're gonna need a replacement, don't wait till like the guy's on his deathbed to be like, hey, should we start looking for the replacement, right? There's a reason why in the United States why we have a vice president, right?
Well, we have a vice president. Why we have a vice president, a speaker of the House, and also a series of intricate tunnels to hide any one of them in case of a fucking goddamn like disaster.
Right? Yeah. Right. It's right. It's just the way that the show like doesn't take like there like the show tries to take itself seriously for us. Like well, we like always like, have to take this, but the problem, but there are logics in the show that doesn't make sense. Like, boy, I feel like you guys should have been doing
this
this
really
like,
seems
ago.
like not the right answer. Like, I don't know if this is really the way to do this. Especially with
right. It's
like there's certain things with the big three, you know, the holy priests of Gordon.
Yeah, the three.
That it just like goes. Okay, but like.
Right, were they purposely misleading everyone this entire time?
Yeah, like, did you...
Right, is that
were you not thinking this through, or did you just, like, go, "Aw, shit, we forgot about this," like...
Is it time for... we got a late payment.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean my bank account has an overdraft fee?
Right. Right, yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about the show. It's like, there are good, but the problem is, like, the logic of the show makes absolute no sense when you think about it, to how everyone approached these situations, right? Especially stuff like when Aoi goes to the UN and be like, hey,
oh, yeah, that shit
doing
is just
a legal experiment,
yeah.
you know, right? Can you guys do something about that, please? You guys, the UN, you know, right? And that's what the UN does, right? You guys govern the world, you know,
it's
right?
It's also crazy, so... You know, this came out at this point
October?
but last year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy to see someone like, I guess, not complain, but like speak to the UN, like, about, oh, there's this crisis happening in my country. Mm-hmm. While the fucking, like, Ukraine-Russian war is happening?
Well, do you think the Ukraine-Russian war is happening in this universe?
Well, that's,
right?
I'm just saying, again, talking about, like, how the show is trying to express certain things, like, that it might not necessarily be properly capable of actually talking about. Like, it feels like, hey, I understand, again, it's like, hey, maybe you did film this, or, you know, put this in production whatever amount of time ago. The UN isn't exactly known for, like, taking a strong stance on a lot of things right now. Mm-hmm. And, like, they're not necessarily, like, the enforcers of justice that you are kind of, like, portraying them as supposed to be.
That they actually...
That you want them to be. So it's like, I get what you're saying. I get it. Hey, that's great. Mm. That's not what the UN... This is not what the UN does. Like, the UN is not a fucking, like... It's not the world police, right? Mm-hmm. And for better or worse, a lot of people think that it is, and then get disappointed when they go, I can't believe the UN won't do anything. It's like, yeah, because the UN keeps inviting the people that they say, like, are doing a no-no, and then but they still let them come to the, like, to the table. Because the UN is fundamentally supposed to be just, like, a fucking, like, room full of people arguing. It's not supposed to be... It is very rare, I guess, for the UN to send out fucking, like, enforcers, right? To go, like, keep the peace. That's not what the UN really does. It just has world leaders arguing with each other. So, it's not, like... It's... I get the idea of, like, having Aoi, like, speak out to...
right, yeah, her talking to the UN about that stuff makes sense.
But, like,
right?
going,
but
hey...
for her just be like, hey, boy, hey, can you guys help me out?
Yeah, this has gotten really bad. If anybody could please just... Anybody, just, like, fucking help. And it's like... I hate to tell you, I think you're gonna get fucked.
The message across,
yeah.
Right? And she was like... Right, if she was just trying to, like, use the UN to expose the secret of Donami, like, hey, this is what Donami's been doing. Hey, look, the government might be lying to the people.
Yeah, you shouldn't,
right?
And, like, hey, you shouldn't, allow, like, I'm putting this all out so that, like, the Japanese government gets forced out of the UN, blah blah blah. But even for Donami, when all of that happens, we cut to it, and his whole like cabinet is just like, just give it some time, it'll pass over, and people will forget about it, blah blah blah. And it's like, if you have the villains of your story just actively going, this happens, shit happens, we don't need to worry about that much.
It's a common thing for Japan,
really dilutes, like, it really dilutes the impact. Like, the only justice, quote unquote, that we get from it is the vigilante justice that fucking Komori and Nick get.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that kind of defeats the point of, like, hey, like, it didn't even, because we didn't even see a change at the end. Because by the end of it, it's gone from Kaijin to Gaijin, just like we were joking about. And it's just like, fuck the foreigners. Like, well,
where'd this come from?
Why, yeah, where did this come from, and why are we doing this? And also, like, the only reason I can see that is, oh, well, now that we know that Kaijin are made in Japan, we accept them. But then we see later. Then we see in that same bit, people still being racist to Kaijin.
Prejudice happening.
So nothing is learned. Nothing is changed. Like, again, like, one of my favorite, you know this about me, one of my favorite series, one of my favorite, anime to come out was Gundam Iron Blood Orphans, which ends in tragedy, but change does come from it. Like, there's a tragic bit to it, but it is fundamentally, like, the tragedy creates change, and things are able to happen. Yes, there still has to be some vigilante justice at the end against some of the, like, more asshole people, like, in my opinion, Space Trump, who dies on a fucking toilet getting shot 3 times. Absolutely fucking epic. But this has tragedy without real resolution. Like, other than, okay, the Creation King is killed. Great. Like, Kotaro kills the Creation King, becomes the Creation King, then gets killed. But, like, it doesn't actually make anything better for anyone. And the villains, at least to an extent, the, like, chief secretary or whatever it is for the prime minister, and Bisham get to, like, move on and, like, get new jobs, and it's like, in the new administration, it's like, I don't think this is, like, the message you were trying to send out. Like, this just doesn't feel like you're actually delivering, like, anything, like, you know, sometimes you have to do, like, bad things to get good results. I get that, like, message. Sometimes, like, the good guys don't always win. Okay, yeah, sure, I get that. But, like, usually it's like, the bad guys don't always win, or the good guys don't always win, but, like, the bad guys aren't just actively still around, you know? Like, like, it's a mutual destruction sort of thing. This is...
Right.
Just... And then the fight continues on, and without the promise of another season, you're left going, well, fuck, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Like, like, why did we go through all of this? Like, if you weren't going to actually, resolve any of this shit, then why the fuck did you put us through all of this?
Right, that's the at the end of it. I feel like nothing has changed since the beginning of the show, with the exception of just more people dead.
Yeah,
right?
It's absolutely just.
Right?
Oh, like, anyway, a lot of people are dead now.
Right? like it's like there's like no right because the show's boy. Hey, look, and look, I'm gonna look. Hey, look, you know this says a lot about society, right?
Right.
You know, right? Right. We live in a society, right? Like the whole show is about racism and society, right? But yeah, there's no status quo change for society, right?
Right.
Like there's not more people on the street saying, hey, okay, cool. I guess we can stop being
Yeah,
racist
hey, like
now.
there's not. Yeah, it literally ends with a sad little girl going in the same way that Aoi was of like, stop it, that's mean, don't be mean, and then Aoi have to like, or Aoi like having to take her in and go, welcome to the revolution, like welcome to the rebellion, and it's like, what, like, why do we, what, why is this happening? Why would this still be, what? Why are they so racist? Like, so fucking, like, we learned literally nothing. This was broadcast on everybody's phone and, like, streaming service for some reason.
Everyone went out, took out their time to take out their phone to watch this girl make a man. It was broadcast on the big screen, you know?
Yeah, and for some reason, I guess we're just...
by the end of it, no one took anything from this, you know?
Yeah.
It's like...
It's also not, like, a thing where, okay, sure, if they showed, like, an adult, like, how he, like, as an adult, seeing the same thing happen again, and she was starting something up, like, to stop it, I could get that. Mm-hmm. But we're looking at this as, like, barely a few months, maybe a year has passed. It's not, like...
Boy, I feel like it's not even a year.
I'm just saying, I'm giving that's the most benefit of the doubt I can give it. But it's like, this is like right back to like status quo, and so why, like how soon after this did Aoi like just go, hey guys, we should probably start training kids now again. Like, it worked super well for Nobuhiko, so we should do that too. And it's like, that seems like a really bad idea, I'm gonna be honest. Like, but none of us are, I guess, strong enough to stop you? Question mark. So we'll go with you. You're our new leader now. We follow you.
Look, you look like you know what you're talking
about.
Yeah,
you got a pretty good. Hey, you got a good head on your shoulders. You talk to the UN, right? So we can just follow you. It's like, no, I don't. Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
Right. It's absolutely insane with how they approach the ending of the show, right? Like I like to the point where I was like, I don't feel this like I guess Bishop was playing both sides the entire time. So like if I were to pick a quote unquote winner of the show, it would definitely be Bishop, because she's like, I guess she made it to the top.
I mean, she didn't die, and she still has a position of power, but
right. So I guess everything worked out for her, right? But there's like everything else just happens, and everyone's like, I'm not sure I'm supposed to like this was not satisfying. It also just ends with fucking Aoi just having a bunch of child soldiers.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, boy, hey, look. I don't look. You weren't there when Nobuhiko did it, you know.
Yeah, but it didn't exactly go well for him. And like the other thing about that is, if the whole point is to show a lesson of like, you know, violence begets more violence, and like here's what I would compare it to, right? So again, going back to Gundam. Gundam's whole like anti-war rhetoric is usually meant to be like, or is typically shown as, there's a character that is the physical like embodiment of war, and then there's a character that is like the more negotiable, like arguing like part of war, and the physical like fighter of that war is like, you know, fighting through tragedy and blah 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 and trauma and doing all this like fucked up shit, and like people are dying and they're having to kill, you know, their friends are dying, all this stuff. And then the more like diplomatic person is going, we've got to stop all this killing, like, fucking Matt Damon, Planet of the Apes. Can't we all just be friends? Like, that whole shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Aoi was supposed to be. Right? She was supposed to be this, like, beacon of diplomacy, right? For figuring stuff out.
Right. Someone to actively, like, create change within the system,
but then
right?
by the end of it, she isn't actually given any power to actually make change. And
and it's like she's also just continuing the cycle.
Yeah, and then she just goes and continues the cycle, and it's like, this isn't really teaching a lesson or anything. This is just kind of like, I don't know, fuck it up. Like, I mean, you can do that, that's fine, but when you're handling topics like these, and you're and it seems like you're trying to be, like, informative or educational about stuff of like, hey, think about it more, right? Hey, you guys, just think about it, right? Get woke. Like, not like to fuck with like people going like, oh, woke culture or whatever, but it's like, hey, try actually thinking with your brain for once. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't actually, you said stuff and then you contradicted it. So I don't think that actually you were thinking about it that much. Like, you definitely said stuff, that's great. But then you, like, lost your train of thought and started talking about,
right. You abandoned your own purpose, right? Right, like you're on this whole point. Hey, look, about like, look, you know what they say. Look, there's no difference between kaijus and humans, you know. But hey, look, one of them are gonna get blown up by these shrapnel.
Yeah, and also, there's no difference between kaijin and humans. But also, every single human can identify a kaijin by smell? Question mark?
Boy,
like,
look.
There's a whole, like, that's again one of those things of like, you look at how the kaijin are treated and stuff that like is explained in the story, and there's stuff like, okay, but like, why are people this like racist against kaijin? I understand it, again, going back to like Amazons, where, okay, the fundamental like core issue between the Amazons and like humans are that they eat people. Like it's Tokyo Ghoul, right? It's just like we gotta eat people to do it, and like, but people want to not be eaten. Okay, I get that, but as far as we see in the series, the kaijin aren't antagonizing anyone. They're just choosing to be.
They're just trying to survive.
Yeah, people are just choosing to like discriminate against them and like relegate them to like slums and stuff, and kick them out of restaurants and like public transportation and stuff. It's like, but why? Like, I get that this is what is happening, and I understand why our certain characters like care about this. But why is this happening in the world? That's not real. That's never really explained, you know. So great, you know. It has this conflict, but it's just so weak in its execution and so weak in actually like trying to teach people on a topic that they're like trying to discuss. And it's to an extent, it's. I get, you know, okay, the show writers were like, we didn't watch any Kamen Rider Black. It's like, okay, so you're going like completely free balls on this. But you didn't actually make you didn't actually make a good product with it? Like, you didn't actually, like, whatever you tried to do that was your original stuff, like, for the series, wasn't actually well thought out. So, I would have actually rather you have watched, like, Kamen Rider Black, and then, like, try to make a retelling. Like, it would have been better if you went for a retelling than try to do this original stuff that isn't as well executed. You know, it's like, you could have just not done this, but you instead just focused on, no, this is a good idea. We should make this, like, our own thing, but make it our own thing by talking about something that we don't really have the expertise to, like, talk about.
Right.
So it's just all over the place of, like, you could have done better.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about the entire story overall.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, I mean, in terms
characters?
of characters, it's like, again, like I said, I think the characters are fine. I think the characters, for the most part, you like, again, with between the flashbacks and everything, you get why characters are in certain points. I think Nobuhiko is a little bit like the bad guy for bad guy's sake, but it's like, you know, I get it. He's been broken. He's been imprisoned. Whatever. Fine. But it's overall, I don't have any problems with, like, Aoi. Like, I don't have any problems with I don't have any problems with Aoi. I don't have any problems with, like, our Kamen Rider, like, main duo. Some of the supporting cast is stupid, but, like, you know, whatever, fine, have them be stupid. But it's not like anybody is doing anything that is outside of people not explaining things as a gripe. I think that as characters and their motivations and, like, what they choose to do, I think for the most part it holds up.
Right, I think the majority of the characters are good too. I mean, Nobody Equals character is pretty much consistent throughout the show.
Yeah.
Right, of how they present it. Right. I mean, they're not cultural characters. Pretty much like, hey, look, I'm a ketamine addict. You know, right. Right. Look, boy, I need to pay for my ketamine addict. Don't want to kill this girl to pay for my ketamine addict. So I'll kidnap her and let her hang out at my abandoned school bus in the middle of outside the city for a bit, you know, right? I think the Hiko character is definitely weird, right? Because the whole gimmick point of the original Black was that Shadow Moon and Black are eternal rivals, right? The Sasuke to his Naruto,
yeah, the Tetsuo to his Kaneda, yeah.
Right, yeah, it's like that, right? But the problem is, like, they kind of force the rivalry between them, right?
Right.
When nobody goes like, hey, look, you guys may have imprisoned me for the last 30 years.
50 years. The last 50 years.
For the last 50 years.
But I'm the captain now.
You might have taken away my free will. Might have tied me to a cross and had me stand up, and then fed me
meat jelly.
Grub, right, but I'm the king now. You know, I'm taking the throne. You know, right?
And it's like,
I'm gonna punish. Go cultural and everything.
I mean,
right?
I guess you can do that if you want to. I feel like you should have more, like, revenge that you want to take and just destroy them. But I don't really get why you're choosing to. Oh, okay, yeah. If you want to.
Right, yeah, right. Like the way his character is, like he had good character bits throughout the beginning, right? But it was like they really just took his character like a weird path.
Yeah.
Towards the end, with how they did it, right? Because they definitely forced the rivalry between them, right? Because until
I got
the whole
I got why he was more violent, like, at the beginning than Kotaro, because he had been imprisoned for the last 50 years, and he's choosing to, like, act out, like, his revenge of, like, you know, hey, they imprisoned me, I'm gonna fuck them up, blah blah blah. It's when it gets to that, like, switch to
after the failed insurrection,
after the failed bomb raid.
Whose fault was it that all these 15-year-old kids die?
Yeah.
It was Kotaro's fault, you know, right?
It's Kotaro's fault, and also, if, like, I'll become the Creation King, and then I'll have control over the narrative, and it's like, but you didn't actually kill Donami. Like, it feels like, okay, cool. So you killed Darum. All right, I get it. Right? He's been kind of like preaching this like complacency stuff that you have an issue with. That makes sense. But then you basically bully Bilgenia. You like get Barum like stabbed by everybody as a like sacrificial like example, but you don't actually take the fight to them. To like Donami, who's the one that's done the most like crimes, and it's like you just wait for.
I feel like that's the whole point, right? Because the whole point was that Gorgon Party was working with Donami's political the government and everything, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So like,
oh fine, we'll work under you.
If Nobuhiko had
new leader in charge,
had taken over,
no more, right?
Had taken over
right?
Gorgon,
I'm gonna give all the people the vibranium.
Yeah. If Gorgon, if Nobuhiko had taken over Gorgon and then started like having them attack Donami, and then Kotaro was forced to be like, we can't do it this way. This isn't the right way. I could understand that. Like that's a tried and true sort of narrative of like two people fighting because they have opposing viewpoints as to how to achieve the same goal. But Nobuhiko's goal just changes and goes, fuck it, I want to be the Creation King now. I'll become Bug Daddy. Like, milk me. Like, and then he just fights Kotaro because he wants to, I guess, fight Kotaro. And it's like, but we could have. This didn't have to happen.
This is all this stuff was avoidable, right?
Yeah.
All this stuff was like like I said, the forced narrative of them having to fight. You know, right? It was like, I was like, right, because we know from the original, like I said earlier, the original Black, like those two will always fight each other.
Right? Yeah, they're supposed to fight. Like,
it's not set up that they were. I mean, we know they were rivals, right? It was like, when they're like, hey, one of us is gonna bang Yukari, you know, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be me, right?
Yeah.
You know. But other than that, like, their rivalry was just like especially Thursday, it was just way more forced. Like, hey, look, Coach, hey, look, you know how we're gonna change this? I'm gonna change the system now, by inciting violence. You know, you were too weak. You know, you didn't want to incite violence. I'm gonna incite violence, right? And I'm gonna start by doing it against you. You know, right? All right. Tomorrow at 12 p.m., I'm gonna send a message to all the Kaijin. We're gonna attack. You know, right?
Right.
Right? It's not like that. He's just like, I'm just the leader now. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, you know. There you go. Yeah, it's just really jarring how Nobuhiko's character was handled towards the end.
Yeah. It's like they knew how they knew they wanted to have this go a certain way, but they lost the idea, like they lost the thread of how they wanted to like get it there.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, that's how I feel about Nobuhiko. Aoi's character was good, like with the exception of the ending where they have her train the army of
and become
But are these all just orphans?
Yeah,
right? I was really confused. Like, did you just take a bunch of orphans or something? You know?
Yeah, where'd you get all these kids?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was really confused where this child soldier army came from. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where we found all these random kids. Like, hey, kid, you want an after?
She was just looking for other kids that were just like protesting, and she was like, "Hey, you want to come hang out with me? I'll teach you how to protest with your fist."
You know, I'll give you a cool toy knife to play with too. You know, right? Look, everybody gets one. You know, it's like, look, I'll teach you science. You know, like what do you think the advertisement? Hey, want to learn science?
But it's also not even that, because like when we see her recruit the one girl, she just walks up to her and goes, "Hey, come with me." And it's like, well, I'm actively protesting this thing. It's like, no. Come with me. And it's like, you haven't explained anything. Why should I walk with you? You're a stranger. I've never met you before in my life.
I trust you, you know,
like,
right?
And she's like, follow me. And it's like, why are you following her? Why would you, like, I mean, yeah, sure, she...
Like, what do you think? Is that what Aoi does all day? Right? Because how she has no parents and no actual legal guardian now, right? Because everyone she knows is dead. She just go around looking for random kids, like, in the streets, like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, I'll show you something cooler, you know, right?
Come hang out with me.
Follow me, right? You want to come to a cool after-school club, you know, right?
Yeah. It's a pretty wild fucking, like, departure for her character, but it's...
Mm-hmm. It's so jarring and confusing, right? Because, her info was that Koto was supposed to be her new father figure and everything, right? Because her parents left her as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like, and Koto was like, hey, don't do this stuff, you know, right? And, like, I'm trying to avoid violence, you know, right? Don't do violence, all right?
Or at the very least, only do self-defense.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then she just actively teaching kids, all right, kids.
More pipe bombs. More pipe bombs.
Ourselves.
Pack that powder, bitch.
Right. Look, that's the only way for you to protect yourself with a pipe bomb. You know, right? It's just so jarring how this train of events happened towards the end. Where I was like, I think she might have missed something. You know, right?
Yeah. You might have missed the lesson, much like the fucking writers did, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's how I feel about
I think that's the only character that really goes through that.
Oh boy, hold on, you don't want to talk about our other favorite character throughout the show? The important character we kept focusing on for no reason, just to be proved nothing?
Boy, which one are you talking about this time?
Our favorite policeman of the show? I know this policeman character has a name, but I'm just not going to bother looking at it.
Yeah, for the life of me, I don't know what his name is either, but it's like...
That was such a jarring character in the show to me.
Yeah, because it seemed like he was trying to be good at the beginning, and then he just became one of the baddies, and it's like... Right, and we didn't even get to feel confusing. Like... There wasn't any tragedy to his death. It wasn't like, he died even though he was trying to help, and it was some confusion. It's like, no, he was going to shoot Aoi, like... he was going to go shoot that girl through that fucking bus. Like, he was a bad guy. Right. Like, that was a bad man.
Yeah, right, I was, like, so fucking confused. Right, because I thought that there was one... Right, because, like, throughout the show, they kept cutting to this police... Well, not cutting, but every time there was, like, a big crowd...
Yeah, anytime that there was stuff... There was, conflict between the Kaijin and the, like, racists, for lack of a better term, because that's what they were. Like,
right. He was always
there to try and like, help, like, temper things down.
Yeah, he was supposed to de-escalate it. I thought his character was, like, okay, he's supposed to be a character who's like, look, just because he's on the Kaijin,
task force or whatever,
police, right, but maybe he, like, throughout the show, right, we learned that he's like, hey, look, maybe we're doing this. Maybe we're approaching our strategy. Maybe we don't need a Scorpion unit.
Yeah, I was going, there we go. All right, yep, mm-hmm.
Right, maybe this unit doesn't need to exist, you know, right?
Yeah.
Right, that's why I thought his character was supposed to be, like, as the show, he realized, like, maybe, right, like, it doesn't, but it's not. Like, his character's actually just like, no, I was actually racist the entire time, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Spoiler alert.
Wow.
ACAB.
Right, it's just so jarring and confusing with this character. Because early on in the show, they just keep presenting as like this character that we were supposed to think as important. But then it just turns out, nope, he is not important. He's just another... look, it just turns out ACAB. It turns out, you know? Right? What was his character the entire time? Yeah, like that his character was really jarring and confusing to me. I was like, oh, okay. Sure, and then we just have to take it at face value. I was like, because we don't have time. Apparently, the show doesn't have time to focus enough on all these characters.
Yeah,
right?
Or to explain or to give any reason that like he's secretly he had some some trauma happen between like a Kaijin and his family, or like he has some like pseudo-justified reason of like being the way that he is, or like he knows there's nothing like given to him to make him either redeeming or interesting. So it's like, why are we focusing on him anyway?
Right, it's just so weird how they throughout the show we kept focusing on this character, right? Like to the point where we thought he was supposed to be significant and relevant, to the story, but it turns out he never was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of that character throughout the show, right? Especially when it ended. Like, I would have been more fan, like what we said. If his character actually showed up to be irrelevant, it's like he's the character who's just like, oh, hey, I learned the errors of my way.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Like, okay, hey, look, Aoi, I'm gonna help you from now on. I'm gonna switch sides. Right? But no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Any other characters we want to talk about?
I don't think there's any other characters I really care about. There's
that are relevant.
There's like I said, for the most part, between the backstory, like flashbacks, and where things land in the present, we get enough of the characters fleshed out.
Mm-hmm. I think the character that matters, we right, they put attention on them for us to know about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Look,
the suits are cool.
The suits are cool. There's some question. I got the Kaijin suits are a little bit goofy, but honestly, at this point, they're the least frustrating thing of the series. As far as effects go, I think it was great that they actually had the sort of bloated Creation King still able to move and be able to fight against them. It wasn't bad in that sense.
Right.
But it was just
the effects were good.
Yeah, the effects were fine.
Right.
There wasn't.
The only effect that wasn't good was Beetlejuice, right?
Yeah.
Because he was just fucking. He had the fucking Marquee Batman from where
he can't move his neck.
Turn his head.
It's like there's certain. Again, the Kaijin costume, the general Kaijin costume design, or the amount of effort that was put into the Kaijin costume design, was lacking. But for the core characters, for the ones that we're actually supposed to focus on, it wasn't bad. And especially for the Kamen Riders and their suits, it wasn't bad. It looked like the Kamen Riders looked good. But
it was good modernization of the original Black and Black Sun outfit, right?
But other than that, I can't think of anything else to really complain about.
Right, yeah. I think we pretty much cover all the main story, all the main beats, right, that we wanted to talk about with the show, right? Right, all right. Do you want to give the show a rating now? Right?
Yeah, let's see. Boy. I think if we're doing it out of 10, it might be... I think I've got to give it a 5. I think it's just, there's a lot of there was a lot of potential there, and then it just failed to deliver, and it failed to actually work itself out.
It had a strong start, basically, right? And throughout the show, I was like, all right, there's good concept features, right? All the stuff that was introduced at the start was strong, right?
Yeah.
And then literally towards the end, that's when I was like, boy, hey, look, I'm not following you guys. I was like, wait a minute, deja vu. Wait, I had this before with other shows that have been going on for a long time, and then within the final season, they fuck it up. Did the writers the director of the show have to go make a Star Wars project?
Yeah.
Or something? Is that why they feel like? Is that why they're rushing this along real quick for some reason? I don't like this,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think a 5 is also suffices. Like I said, the show's starting was extremely strong with the concept of what they're trying to do. Right. I did like the flash the 2 timeline aspect of the show where it reveals hey, this is why stuff that has been going on, right? We find out the reason for everything, right?
Yeah.
About why these characters were like this. You know, right? But like, so yeah, like we said, like the ending act of the show, they really missed the mark on it.
Yeah, and it's because they had such clearly ambitious like allegories that they were trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
It made the impact worse of like some of the things they were trying to do, because by trying to compare it to real world events but not actually giving the justice or satisfaction that happens in real world events. I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen, but it's like,
right,
you've got to talk about it. You've got to like show something happening. Like, you know, sure, all right, we got Donami killed like in the fucking alleyway. Great, awesome.
Yeah.
What about the police holding down that bug kaijin, literally doing verbatim like the George Floyd "I can't breathe" moment? Like, I don't think that like you. I don't think that you fucking like thought this through. Like, I don't think that you really knew how to like address this. Like, there's not a point where, you know.
Yeah.
There's. I guess it's like there isn't both a there were some losses moment, but also some good things happen. Like, we don't see those police officers get convicted, which, hey, at least in the most recent incident, we had that happen. But like,
now look, we're getting extras too.
Yeah,
you know,
and we're finding anybody else that we need to convict. But like, but for this, it's just like, man, and life still sucks for the kaijin, and it's like,
yeah,
well, okay, then why? I mean, fuck, man, it seems like the kaijin just lost in general, like that. Like,
right. Like, their entire existence has turned out to be a lie. You know, right? Boy, hey, look, Tariq, you wanna know something? Look, there's no Creation King left, you know, right?
Yeah.
And where's everyone getting their stupid bug juice from now, you know? Right? What's happening with that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how are all the kaijus getting their fix now?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's I think that's it. Kamen Rider Black Sun.
Well, hey, I can't wait for the next thrilling modern interpretation of a Kamen Rider series by Amazon, you know, right?
Yeah, or
And look, hey, from what I heard, Shin Kamen Rider, very good so far.
Well, great.
Right? The early reviews.
Let's find out if that actually holds up.
Yeah, from what I heard, it does what Black Sun does, but coherent. But I don't know what that means. So that is the word right now about Black Sun. So I mean, not about Shin Kamen Rider.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. Hey, look. You know what? Okay, they should do Rider Man next. You know, right?
Yeah.
Only because he's the lamest out of the original. He's the lamest out of the Showa era Kamen Rider.
You think he's lamer than? Wait, actually, hold on. How bad was Rider Man? Because I might be confusing him with Stronger. Is he is Rider Man the one with the
with his mouth exposed?
Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Rider Man.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, Stronger's not that bad. Oh, he's the one that has the Electro Wave human tackle. And fucking the...
Yeah, that's Stronger.
Yeah, that's how we got... And Black Satan, that's how we got Miss Titan.
Boy. Yeah. You're not wrong about that. that is who Stronger is.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Hey, look, what is it? Look. Alright, so we got, let's see. So, there's 7 original Showa era writers. Let's see, Amazon, Black... so what? That's... And then, let's see, Kamen Rider 1 and Kamen Rider 2 are in Shin Kamen Rider, so... I guess that's 3 more Kamen Riders that they can adapt, you know, for us. Right? We get the...
I mean,
right? If
I would.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I really, especially once I realized that this is the one that was that this is the one that's adapted from the Saban like Masked Rider adaptation. I really had my hopes up, and I've had them like dashed against the wall like a fucking like
Right, that's the worst part
aborted
too,
baby.
right? Black is like the is like not counting the original Kamen Rider, right?
Yeah.
Not counting OG Kamen Rider 1, right? Black is the most popular out of all the Shoei era by a long shot. Like by a long shot, right? Like everyone loves Black.
Yeah.
Right?
No, everybody loves Black. Welcome to February. That's all you have to say.
Yeah,
Everybody loves Black.
That's true. We are recording this in February.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody loves Black. Right? Look, right? And the fact that they messed up the adaptation of Black is hard for me, or try to do this weird modernized concept. Boy, I can't wait to see how they would approach other Showa era shows in the future if they decide to,
Yeah.
you know, right? Look, like I said, look, as long as they don't do fucking if they don't do Rider Man, that's all that matters, you know. I don't want to see a guy walking around looking like Rider Man.
It would be, I mean, again, it would be really funny though if like Rider Man was the one, the one that came back, and then they went, yeah, this is fucking edgy as shit. Oh my god, Rider Man is so fucking good. Like, oh,
right?
They went so...
Look, he doesn't... There's a reason why he doesn't cover the bottom half of his mouth, you know, right? He really wants to... Like, when he says his words, he really wants you to know that they're coming out of his mouth.
But also... At this point, a Rider Man adaptation that would be, like, the way that Black Sun was, would be, like... If, I don't know, hypothetically, there was a rampant virus going around the world, and Rider Man was the only one with the courage and strength to have a mask but not cover his mouth or nose. And it's like, man, I think you kind of, I see that you're trying to talk about, like, some, like, modern day issues, but I don't think that you're talking about them in the right way. Like, Jesus Christ.
Look, Rider Man doesn't want to be restrained, you know, right?
Yeah, Rider Man likes to say, I can't breathe. It's my body, it's my right. What do you mean this woman wants an abortion? What do you mean that the butterfly lady from Rider Man wants to get an abortion because she is having Rider Man's baby? Rider Man says no. God, please don't do that. Please don't make us have... I don't need men's rights activists and anti-mask fucking... An anti-mask Kamen Rider will be the fucking funniest fucking thing, but please don't make it.
Alright. Look, I think that's a good way to end this review, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how we segue from that.
I don't think we can top that. Just, yeah, please don't make...
Right.
Hey, Amazon, thanks but no thanks. Please don't give us a anti-mask Kamen Rider.
Alright, that's the end of this review. Alright. Coronavirus is still a thing. I should wear a mask, get your shot. Oh, wait, hold on, wait. Wait, hold on. Hey, behind the scenes, we're recording this on the first day of Black History Month, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Wasn't Biden supposed to announce that COVID's over or something today?
Something about COVID restrictions.
Or was that over? But like, hey, we beat the curve or some shit.
Look.
Or
The only thing I'm focused on is all the new reveals from the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak Update 4 trailer, which gives us a new Elder Dragon, some other shit, and that's cool. It's really cool. I want to focus on that. I want to not think about everybody on this goddamn planet, and especially this country, being batshit fucking insane.
Oh, there it is. Joe Biden to end COVID emergency declaration on May 11th.
That's May. So we've got until maybe the next Monster Hunter title update comes out to like worry about it. Cool.
All right.
Anyway,
Alright, cool,
hey,
alright, that's it.
yeah, I'm gonna go work with Molly after this to take her through the rest of the fucking game because we still haven't gotten her through the story.
I saw the update trailer.
Yeah.
One of the new outfit is a maid uniform.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few maid looking at uniforms, but also
No. This is straight up a maid uniform.
which one are you talking about?
Title update 4.
Yeah. I'm just saying which fucking because I'm looking at the there's the sort of like fucking what's her name Lady Labyrinth looking like armor set, or are you talking about the one that they show like as one of the event quest things?
I think we'll probably the one that's a French maid uniform or whatever the fuck. The one that's like a stereotypical fetish maid outfit.
What's
right?
the color scheme?
It's black and white.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
It's
one of the event quest DLC armors. Yeah. Just straight up looks like a French maid.
I saw it. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it just looks like a French maid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's listen,
I'm trying to
figure out how I can rig the system so I can make my dog a dragon, okay? Cuz they made that shit a lottery system and fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I've never wanted to rig a system to win something so badly. Anyway, yeah, Velkhana. Time to fight that thing. Next week.
Alright. That's the video. Okay, thanks, bye.